Hello there, welcome to Brian Lomax's Movie Talk. We're on to X-Files Season 11, Episode 3, and this one's called Plus One. Another good one this, primarily because of, again, as with the previous episode, the relationship between Mulder and Scully. This is one of those episodes where they keep Mulder and Scully together as much as possible. And I tend to find that when they do that, you tend to get gold. Not everything in this episode works. There's some characters that are a little bit too on the comedic side, and at times when I think they shouldn't be. There's this lawyer in particular, this guy called Dean. I think he's just a little bit too much of a joke to be taken seriously as a lawyer, you know. I can't imagine him being in the position as he is and being such a, I don't know what the word is really, a putz, I guess. But yeah, beyond that, it's still pretty good. I think that the central mystery, it focuses on these two siblings who seem to have a telepathic connection and seem to be able to kill people through it by sending a doppelganger after them. It doesn't really make much sense. Like, I get to the end of it and I honestly can't tell you what actually happened. I'm not too sure. Whether I missed something, I don't know. But like I say, because of the way Mulder and Scully are in this episode, because they're together for much of it, and their dialogue between the two of them is really great. And I love these characters. I've always loved these characters. I love the X-Files because of these two central characters. And sometimes you can forgive certain deficiencies in whatever plot they have that week if they're on fire, if they're on form, and in this episode they are. Someone else who is on fire in this is the guest star of the week, a lady called Karin Konoval, and she plays the two siblings, female and male. And I must say, when the male version, her brother, came on, I did not clock. It was a good 5 minutes before I clocked the fact that actually this is the same woman who just played the part we've just seen, now playing a guy. I sensed there was something off, but I just figured it was just because of this character, because he's a little bit weird anyway. Mulder goes into his house and it's all, it's clutter central, and he's a bit of an oddball. So I just put it down to that, and then I'm looking and I can't, they've actually done a good job there, casting someone who does look like the sister. No, that is the sister, and then I realised, and she does a fantastic job in this episode. I got to say, she plays a few different characters, because the sister has this kind of split personality, so there's like a good side and a bad side, plus she's playing the guy, her brother. Stellar job, must say, absolute stellar job. One to watch. I quickly checked her IMDb page. She has done a fair bit already. This is the first time I've noticed her as an actor, and I would imagine from here on out she shouldn't find too much trouble getting work based on the strength of this performance. There's a lot of fears that come to the surface in this episode with Scully. She's worried she's getting on a bit, she's past her prime, and maybe too late to have any more children, and I can understand that as a realistic fear. I guess there's some other things that come into play with regards to what Scully believes in. She talks about evil as a concept, not as something that is a genuine thing, which really surprised me actually. Given what we've seen throughout the history of this show, she was always the one she was a person of faith. It was always a rocky faith, granted, but I always got the sense she was still a believer when it came to things like God, and things like that. She approaches that like she does all things, which is from a scientific background, I guess. So, I don't know, to her, I guess the concept of evil is something that needs to be understood in a different way. But yeah, it didn't quite sit with me right, that. Although, again, the flip side of that is that she does show a superstitious side. She takes these pills, even though there's nothing to them. But that superstition kicks in. So this is a pretty solid episode, I must say. I was toying with giving it a 4. out of 5. I think I still kind of want to. Now just talking about it, like I say, there are a lot of deficiencies in the script with regards to the story, the mystery that is there to be solved. But like I say, I loved the interplay here between Mulder and Scully. I love that when we see them together, it doesn't feel old hat. It doesn't feel like, oh man, you know, it's just that you're flogging a dead horse. And sometimes in some of these later seasons of X-Files, it has felt like that with regards to the stories they're telling. And particularly in like season 8, 9, some of the weaker episodes, again, that came out of this fact that Mulder and Scully had been separated. They were hardly ever on screen together. And it just shows you that the heart of this show really is these two characters and the performances by Anderson and Duchovny. You know, you stick them together, even in a mediocre story, that's where the fire comes from. And for that reason, I am going to give this a 4. I think if you judge this purely on merits of the story, that kind of thing, this would probably be a 3.5, I'd say. But like I say, that chemistry, that relationship, the thing that's brought me back to the X-Files time and time again, it lifts this up into something more, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. But what about you? Have you seen this episode? And if so, what did you think about it? And what do you think about this season altogether so far, now that we're a few episodes in? Comment below, let me know, and until next time, cracking.